What's up, Bob? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? In what? You don't believe.
Coach Prime came to Colorado and brought hope. Before Coach Prime came, Colorado was the worst team in college football by a long shot. Not only because of their 1-11 record, but also because they had the widest margin of losses in the country. Of course, when Prime first arrived, there were skeptics in the college football world. We all know how his introduction to the team and the media went.
I got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. Where's Shador? Shador? And this is your quarterback, all right?
But for those of us who have been around the team and been Buffs fans for the past several decades, we immediately bought in. Because what do we have to lose? Here was a coach who had played the game at the highest level, and everywhere he went, winning followed. It was the culture that was apparent right away.
We don't have to do anything. We're going to outwork them. We're going to out-recruit them. We're going to out-scout them. We're going to out-develop. We're going to get our education. We're going to graduate these young men. These young men are going to be on campus respectful and considerate and kind, opening doors for you and making sure everything is copacetic. And they're going to say yes, sir, and no, sir, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, or they're going to have to deal with me. That's just the way I father. That's the way I parent. That's the way I coach. I'm old school. Sometimes I may look like an old fool, but I'm just old school.
Now, plenty of the naysayers have continued the narrative of Coach Prime isn't staying, and once his kids are gone, he's gone too. They have also criticized his strategy in recruiting, where his classes are more about quality over quantity, and getting a majority of his players out of the portal. One thing plenty of people ignore is what he does each and every year in high school recruiting, and that is getting at least one top-tier talent in every single class. First, it was landing Travis Hunter at Jackson State, flipping him from Florida State at the last moment. Then it was top cornerback Cormani McClain during his first year at Colorado, flipping him from Miami to Colorado. Then last year, it was landing the top offensive tackle in Jordan Seaton after so many people said that Colorado didn't have a chance.
Uh-oh. What's in the bag seat?
What's in the bag seat?
How are we going to?
Wait a minute.
The University of Colorado.
Every offseason, Coach Prime goes after the position of most need and gets after the very best recruit in the class. This season is different. Coach Prime's son, Shador, is heading to the draft, and Colorado will be without that big name, outstanding quarterback to lead the Buffs into the future. So what does Prime need to do to secure Colorado's future post-Shador?
Yeah, man, and if you ain't rocking with us and you say you're a dog and you claim you're a dog, why are you not coming to Colorado?
Well, getting one of the biggest named quarterbacks in all of high school football. Enter Julian Lewis.
Same as most other kids, I just throw a football a little bit further and harder.
A 14-year-old phenom named Julian Lewis, who has already turned the heads of some of his peers, and he looks to be the next big thing.
Shoot, I mean, I've been playing since I was 5. I mean, I was out there every day, trained every day since I was 5, so that's kind of been my thing.
From the time Juju was little, he could be found hurling toys into bins in his preschool class as a toddler. At 7, Lewis could already send a football 25 yards with ease, and at 8, he was already working with a top quarterback coach. Lewis's father, TC, made sure that Lewis had the absolute best when it came to coaching and development. Now, at the age of 17, Lewis dominates Georgia's ultra-competitive high school football scene as the best quarterback in the state. And while Julian has been in the spotlight, it is a place that he finds himself the most comfortable with.
The only thing I'm thinking about is winning. That's all. I mean, I don't really care what else has to. However I got to do it is how I do it. Like, I just want to win.
Back in January of 2022, Lewis began having his life documented by none other than former Buffs receiver Scotty McKnight. This started the small but big connections that would grow into Colorado's recruitment of Julian Lewis. Another connection to Colorado has been Lewis's admiration for CU legend Cordell Stewart.
So my son and I, after practice, because the campus was literally no more than 2 miles away, we would stop at Willie's and get whatever, and Juju and his dad comes in. And the dad say, "Mr. Stewart, I'd like for you to meet my son. You know, this is Juju. Whoa, he wears number 10. And I go shake his hand like a gentleman. And he say, "Man, I've always followed you. I've done my homework, and I know you, woo, and I read number 10 because of you." I said, "Really?" I said, "Tell me about 10. He said, "He's a bad man." I said, "Thank you, Juju." Thank you, buddy. And so he ends up, I end up following him on Instagram and watching him go to Pope, the high school, and playing. And everything he did, whether it was Rivals, Adidas, whatever those little 7-on-7 camps that he went to, he's always gotten the winning trophy, or he's always been projected to be the number 1 quarterback in every single class he's been in since he's been on his run after that moment. Because I didn't know who he was before then. Yeah. I just started following him, and he's responded every time I say, "Great work." Like, he'll play a game, I'll watch the highlights or whatever because what he'll post. And I would tell him, "Great job," or I tell him, "I loved when you stepped up and made that throw. Great way to keep your eyes down." I would always say little bitty things that he was always responding, say, "Yes, sir, I appreciate you, following," or whatever.
Now, of course, CU wasn't always the path, as Lewis committed to USC back in August of 2023, when Coach Prime was just entering his first year with Colorado. Since then, Lewis reclassified for the 2025 class, all because of how dominant he was at the high school level, and knowing that he needed to jump to college was the only way that he was going to continue his development. Once he reclassified, the recruiting heated up. Colorado offered him once he reclassified and brought him in for his first visit this past January. Then again, he came in the spring, and the big trip was the summer when Lewis made his official visit. On said visit, Lewis took this iconic picture that made the college football world spin, but especially went after USC fans. On top of that, many fans in the community did everything they could to show him what he meant to the Boulder faithful. Many took this picture that he took with Shador as the turning point in Lewis's recruitment, as other teams continued to go after him, including Auburn, Indiana, and of course continued recruiting from USC. But throughout the summer, Lewis maintained his commitment to Lincoln Riley and USC, and the word was he would shut his recruitment down at the beginning of his high school season. But something interesting happened instead. Lewis's season came and went, and nothing changed. There was no word of him stopping his recruitment process, and no idea where the team stood. Of course, USC fans took this as a final commitment for Lewis, but Lewis and TC believed differently. Instead, Lewis continued the process by visiting USC for a game in the early season when they lost to Michigan at the Coliseum, all while in Boulder, Colorado, CU was thriving and winning had returned to the Flatirons thanks to Coach Prime. Then Lewis made the trip to Boulder for what would be an amazing Cincinnati game and watched CU dominate for their 6th win to become bowl eligible for the first time in years. It is at that visit that people believe Julian Lewis officially told the Buffs that they were going to be the team of his choice. There are plenty of people out there saying that Lewis then became a silent commitment. But nothing was heard after the trip. In fact, Lewis had scheduled 2 different trips to Indiana but ended up canceling both, and after the second one, Indiana decided to move on from their recruitment of Lewis. USC also began courting other quarterbacks in the class, and then finally, the big news started to come in as many different crystal balls for Julian Lewis to flip to Colorado were posted all over the internet. From Tom Loy to Steve Wiltfong, Julian Lewis was looking like he was coming to Boulder to play for Coach Prime and the Buffs. Today is another turning point in the Prime era for Colorado. Julian Lewis has officially committed to Colorado, where he will spend the next 3 to 4 years quarterbacking Coach Prime's team with the hopes of Big 12 dominance and continuing the national spotlight. Many would wonder if the bright lights of a Coach Prime team would be too bright for a 17-year-old, but Julian Lewis is the perfect candidate, having been in the spotlight since he was very young. As we leave this season behind and look to the future looks bright in Boulder, with Lewis taking the keys to the Ferrari known as the Colorado Buffaloes. Buffs fans, join me in welcoming Julian Lewis to Buff Nation. Sko Buffs.
Hey,